The South Sudan government and the warring factions, after signing the 2018 South Sudan Revitalized Peace Agreement, have had challenges in implementing the agreement as scheduled. This, in turn, has crippled progress in the country's development, and as expected, the same victims during the conflict continue to suffer. Rural Development Action Aid, this year under its Peace and Governance thematic program, has been carrying out awareness workshops with funding from UNDP on Chapter 5 of the 2018 South Sudan Revitalized Peace Agreement in Western Equatorial State, in the counties of Yambio, Maridi, and Nzara, which talks about formation of 3 major commissions as stated by the facilitator.
Funding from UNDP, we were able to come up with this proposal on how to engage our communities and our stakeholders so that we can be able to disseminate this peace agreement to the communities, and especially on this Chapter 5. When you go under this particular Chapter 5, there are 3 major components. One of which is the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing, and then we have the hybrid record, and then we have the compensation and the reparable authority.
In this workshop on the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing, CTRH, RDAA's main intention was to bring local government leaders down to their civilians so that they can explain what actually is going on, as the facilitator explains.
So we engage the national actors or state actors so that they come up and also tell you some of the barriers in making some of the things not Muslim in regards to how the time frame was set. So this is our major concern of having this workshop. We want to enlighten the public on this particular component of the agreement.
During the course of the workshop, the participants were engaged into group discussions and presentations. When I asked some of them about their opinion on this workshop, this is what they had to say.
The Interim Youth Union Secretary for Western Equatorial State. My general overview on the issue we are discussing today, which is in Chapter 5 of the Revitalized Peace Agreement. Just taking the components of reconciliation, healing, and it is very important. First of all, you need to know that it is very important because our community have gone so far under so many difficult situations. Because we have seen that this commission, if it is established, it is a commission that will give rights to people. Those ones who lost their property, first of all, it is where it can be addressed. Those ones who lost their loved one, it is where they can hear what happened. Even our leaders, those ones who committed atrocities against the community, they will be held accountable.
I'm called Reverend Mama Modangelo Basha. I thank God so much for this kind of workshop today, especially the organization which brought this one for us. My opinion is that if we continue to do this and pass this information outside to other people, really it will encourage the people who have been discouraged, the people who are really traumatized, frustrated, so many questions without answer. So if we continue with this commission, I think and I believe it will help us.
As the workshop continued, questions about the reasons why the formation of CTRH has delayed kept coming in.
2 is that since the Revitalized Agreement on Conflict in South Sudan was signed by our government and other partners, what are really some of the challenges facing them not to implement the articles which they think it can be obstacle to them in the future?
Mina sana fugi gimiabo kumana gupana misarge na pagani namba yamo wane tuwale kaya sayini nga nambra ni namba ini poiningo ya pagani namba wane tuwale.
Yeah, my name is Asaba John Rambo Ikiro, Child Lady, Women Empowerment Center. Do I think that the formation of commission will be formed? Yeah, the answer is it can be formed, but unless the government handle the corruption, that's when the commissioner can be found. And because with that fund, it can be found. That's what I can say, and that's what I know about it. For me, I think that when it is formed, it has to begin from the top and come down for the grassroots, because those who are the grassroots are the most people who suffered a lot, and the perpetrators was from the top there. So they have to start it from the top, then they come then the grassroots.
We have people whose rights have been violated in the system. And if they are there, how do we get the records? Because one day, people will come and ask, people of Yambio, people of Western Equatoria, I think, did you go through a lot of difficulties during this time of war? Yes. How? No, my house was damaged. My house was burnt. Do you have evidence? Can you prove any evidence of your house being burnt? These are the things that we need to prepare ourselves. Then you have all the knowledge, you have all the skills to approach your issues, to handle your issues. Because I think you'll be the first in the whole country to have this skill before this commission is established. And thank you, RDAA, for picking up this vital chapter.
In his response, the guest of honor, Honorable Victor Ndukbo, the Honorable State Advisor on Human Rights, explained why there has been a delay in the formation of the commission and gave thanks to RDAA for the initiative of this workshop.
It was tasked by the agreement to vet the members of the commission. There are 7 commissioners names is presented to the assembly. The assembly will vet, and now they will have the power to constitute the commission. I was worried when we went up to the group session. I thought you would not understand that. That was demonstrating that you really picked what was being given to you. On behalf of this state government, I will put in my report that RDAA have done a very marvelous work. They have planted a very important seed in you, of which you are going to work on. I'm very much grateful, and I will continue to support RDAA so that they can continue with this program.